This is Legacy Matthew Priest from BCWA, and you are listening to the FTW Podcast.
Harrison and Rob, Kevin and Joe, talking about the wrestlers that you know. FTW Podcast, FTW Podcast, FTW Podcast.
Playing Team Fortress 2. Playing a video game while pooping is
TF2.
well, whatever. It's like playing a video game while you poop is, you know, you made it as a species. Hello everybody and welcome to the FTW Podcast, the wrestling world in all its laughable glory. I am Harrison and with me as always is Joe. Say hello, Joe.
Woo woo, thud.
Rob. Say hello, Rob.
Hey.
And Kevin. Say hello, Kevin.
What's up?
Tonight's show is episode number 98 and was recorded on January 24th, 2011, and is brought to you by Macho Man Randy Savage.
Alright, this is the ghost of the Macho Man Randy Savage saying you love listening to the FTW podcast. Oh yeah.
Tell me that wasn't awesome.
Yes, it
I'm so
was.
glad he called us from beyond the grave.
So speaking
Miss
of
you,
which,
buddy. He was saying that while on the top turnbuckle pointing to the sky.
But that's the thing, he wasn't
Oh, yes.
calling from beyond the grave. You guys are wrong. I like to think that he recorded this months ago, and that it's only just now coming out in his will that he wanted us to have it. See? So it's not macabre at all. And we're not making a joke about a dead person. We're making a joke about a live person who happened to be alive until that changed.
Well, he gave us a humorous message.
Until
which he thought
that
would be funny.
changed.
Look, I'm just saying, we don't know how this came to us. It was just on our voicemail. I just like to think that his estate sent it to us. So that's my story, and I'm sticking to it. Anyway, this is the formal announcement of our new call-in contest. As you know, every single episode that we do begins with an intro from a person that we've interviewed in the past. Mike Blackwell, All-Star Austin Hightower, etc. So basically now we're going to turn the megaphone to you. Step 1, we want you to call us in at 313-444-FTW4. That's 313-444-3894. Step 2, leave us a voicemail introing the show. Try and keep it to about no more than 10 seconds, 15 if you really have to. And make sure that you say your name in it as clearly as possible with a space in between so it becomes easier to edit. Obviously, we have the Macho Man right here, so if you can do better, we'd love to hear it. And step 3, the best ones get put into rotation, so have at it. 313-444-FTW4. Yeah, no racism's going to make it. So let's just cut that out right here. No Ron Paul 2012. None of that is getting on here, so let's just forget that. All right, Rob, take us away with Impact, man. What was your favorite thing about Impact last week?
You know, it's kind of hard to pick out a favorite moment of Impact, but if I had to pick one thing, I'm going to go with Angelina trying to kick a field goal with Eric Young's groin. That's probably the highlight of Impact, which should tell you what a the downside that Impact had this past week. It was just an awful show.
Okay. Oh, I'm sorry. Joe?
I'm just in shock of Rob. It was an awful show. Just bad. Like the weight of the world has just crushed Rob because Impact was bad. I think on the whole the internet is used to that.
The reason I'm upset about it is because I have been working on an article. I've got it, the first draft of it. I was working on this really great article about how great TNA's been doing and why people should be paying attention. And just as I'm about to, put it on the site, I get this shit to deal with.
Hang on, guys, dude. Okay, seriously, I think someone slipped some shrooms into my dinner because I just swear I heard Rob saying that he wrote an article.
Yeah, I wrote an article, Harrison.
No, Kevin, Joe, you heard that too, right? Because if not, dude, I'm going to the hospital.
No, go to the hospital, dude. You've got so many other things you need checked out anyway.
I got this wrist thing. I don't know why it hurts so much, but it does. Anyway, okay, so you... Okay, the one thing I wanted to ask you, Rob. Once again, no contest.
Yeah, that... I mean, this is the second week in a row we've had no contest on the main event. Second week in a row where TNA has just refused to decide where they want to go with their main title storyline. Now, on one hand, this is kind of cool. On one hand, I really like what Bobby Roode is doing. Bobby Roode, as the heel now, is actually, at the risk of blasphemy, he's actually kind of almost getting into the range where he reminds me of like a young Ric Flair, being like the dirtiest player in the game, always finding a way to hang on to his title by hook or by crook. He's almost hitting that spot, but on the other side, TNA needs to pull their heads out of their ass and needs to decide who they're going to put up against Roode.
Well, but at the same time, it's still nice that they're not saying Jeff Hardy is automatically getting the spot, or Kurt Angle is not automatically getting the spot. They are still. There's a lot of questions still being raised here, so it's not like they're singling out just two people. Although we would love to see Storm versus Roode, that still can happen. It's just they are forcing us to be patient, which is what sucks about it, because it's not really that interesting. But I wouldn't say it's bad. It's just not great.
Well, like I said, there are some good points to it, but on another chance, but they need to do it. But if they're going to stick with this part of the storyline, they need to start doing it better, like you said, Garvin, because right now, as I'm watching it, I get the sense that TNA management has no idea who they want to send up against Roode. They don't know if they want to send Hardy. They don't know if they can trust Hardy to go up against to last long enough to be a good champion.
Which is a good thing, because we agree with that.
Right. They don't know if they want to send Lance Storm.
Lance Storm?
James Storm. Wow.
I would love to see Lance Storm there.
They both have a good super kick. Let's just say that.
That's true. They do.
Taking me back there.
Hey Rob, real quick, the Knockouts cage match. What did you think about that match?
I thought it was good. Mickie James managed not to injure herself, which is always a plus. It was pretty good. It was nice to see. It was nice from a storyline point to see Mickie James finally get her hands on Madison Rayne. So it was good. It could have been a lot better, but I don't have too many complaints with it.
For me, the only thing that was missing from that match, which was a cage match, was them actually using the cage. Like, there was no one climbing the cage. There was a few, of them throwing each other in the cage, but there was really no use of it, which kind of defeats the purpose.
Yeah, it was basically a regular match inside of a cage. You forgot very quickly that the two people were in a cage. It could have been, like I said, they could have done a lot better.
Okay. Seems like it was the storyline. They could have done a lot better. So last week, we earned, was it like 2 smiley faces out of 8? I forget. Fuck it. How many smiley faces? Because we got to rate shows. Because that's what the internet wants. Because it's not ridiculous or stupid at all. Sorry, Rob. Go ahead. How many smiley faces for... Oh, let's pick something else. How about... How many cocaine-addled monkeys would you give this show?
Cocaine-addled monkeys.
Yes. One cocaine-addled monkey being a good time. 5, that's just out of hand and a bad time. So golf rules. You want to go low.
Okay. God.
Come on, buddy.
I'm going to say 3.
Three cocaine-addled monkeys.
Yes.
All right, enough trank darts. You can probably get through that. All right, cool, man. All right, let's move on to NXT and Superstars. Garv, walk us through NXT and Superstars. How was Titus O'Neil?
Tits O'Neil.
I like it. Titus O'Neil.
Okay, well, the big problem here is that we are leading up to a major pay-per-view, the Royal Rumble. So a lot of time that we've seen previously go to, the undercard here on both NXT and Superstars was spent on the Royal Rumble build-up. So a lot of video packages instead of actual matches. But the matches that we did see were okay. NXT, really nothing to write home about. They've got a major storyline going on between Johnny Curtis and Derek Bateman. It's a love triangle. There's a wedding. Really stupid and overplayed. It ended exactly how you would have predicted it, where it just ended up being a fight. No wedding happened. And unfortunately, I think that really tore down the show. I mean, it because you knew what was going to happen, it didn't mean as much as it could have. If they did this, 20 years ago when you really weren't seeing that sort of thing. The only note that I really made from NXT other than that was Yoshitatsu and Trent Beretta once again partnered up, and they looked really good as a tag team. I'm really glad that they were pushing these two in that direction. Unfortunately, they lost to Rex and Hawkins, so at least Rex and Hawkins are getting some wins, which we really haven't seen on any show as of late, especially Superstars. Page flip. On Superstars, Rex and Hawkins took the main event, and they took on another tag team, which is a new tag team, Mason Ryan and Santino. Odd pairing, right? Very.
So you say odd.
Yeah, I say odd. It was an odd pairing. There really was no reason behind it, except for if you go back.
Welsh and spaghetti. There's your tag team.
Oh, that would be terrible food.
If you go back like 2
that really
weeks
would
ago,
be horrible.
Thank you. Kevin's got me. All right, Garvin, go on. Sorry.
if you go back 2 weeks ago, Matt Stryker in the commentary booth said that teams were partnering up in the back, and we'd be seeing new tag teams to, at the time, take on Air Boom. But now that Air Boom's out of the question, they are probably just going to start pushing new combinations up. So, a Mason Ryan and Santino, I don't think will do well. But at the same time, because of how much time that those two have on camera as of late, it's quite possible that they could be a future tag team champion, even though I really hope that's not the case. And then the only other thing that happened worth mentioning was Tamina taking on Natalya. And it was basically another squash match. Tamina won. But why it was important was because you finally saw Tamina turn that corner. I think this was like two weeks ago. I was talking about this and saying that I didn't really believe Tamina was at the level to be pushed as the major face in this feud. She really just didn't have it. But this week, I think she turned that corner, and she is not at a SmackDown level yet, but I think she is on the right path.
Quick question, Garvin. Just because I'm having trouble remembering this, do you, Garvin, or anybody else here, do you guys remember the last time Natalya won a match?
No, I cannot name a single one.
See, she seems out of the Divas of Destruction or whatever the hell you want to call them. She's lost. I think just about. She might have won one match since they teamed up. Beth has won just about every match. Natalya's taken the fall in every match and has lost just about every match.
No, that's a really good point. Yeah.
I think it's fodder for a breakup at some point.
Well, and we were predicting that. weeks ago when they were still showing Beth and Natalia together. But now that they aren't, it's almost like they dropped that storyline altogether.
They're doing that a lot.
Yeah, WWE is doing that a lot. I just ask because I think it's a shame. Natalia is one of the more talented divas, especially when you take into consideration the family that she comes from, and she just never seems to get a break. But
she does come from good stock.
Yeah.
Yeah, and speaking of that, that was actually built into the commentary for this match. They were really building this up as Jim Neidhart's daughter versus Jimmy Snuka's daughter.
Huh.
So, I don't know. Yeah, I totally agree. I wish that they would do something better with Natalia. But at the same time, they can't push everyone.
Right.
And she's unfortunately getting the same treatment that they gave The Miz after his WrestleMania matches. So I don't know. We'll see. Only time will tell.
Okay. Cool. Joe. So SmackDown happened.
SmackDown did happen. I think the best thing that happened out of this thing, I mean, it was impressive to see. I liked watching the Wade Barrett-Sheamus match in a tables match because we're doing the Sin City SmackDown. Everything's done on the wheel. Woohoo!
Wackiness.
What?
Wackiness.
Oh, I thought you said high penis. I was like, what the fuck? No, but seeing Wade Barrett and Sheamus, both those guys in a tables match worked pretty well. Wade Barrett had some good moments of avoiding the table. Where Sheamus bounces off the ropes, comes running full steam with the big boot to Wade Barrett when Wade Barrett's on the apron. How do you not think Wade Barrett's going flying all the fucking way over? He almost put himself through the announcing table, which would have been hilarious.
Yeah.
Flying over a table to hit another table. One thing that kind of pissed me off was Santino Marella beating Drew McIntyre in a blindfold match, which means Drew's fired. I don't understand what the fuck they're doing at this point. Unless you're trying to write Drew off and just release him.
Yeah, Drew McIntyre seems to be another spot where this storyline thing seems to be coming. I mean, I remember when, McIntyre was coming out arm in arm with Vince McMahon, and Vince McMahon was saying, well, this is the guy.
That seems to be the death knell. I mean, anytime Vince has said, this is going to be the guy, they flop. So, I think that, they did something similar with MVP, where MVP had 16 weeks of losing in a row before they did anything with him. And I think this is kind of a similar storyline, but now he's fired. Now what do you do with him?
Right.
I mean, it was a similar gimmick where MVP, he's not winning, so his contract's not worth anything, so he could be fired. They're doing the exact same thing. Do something with Drew, because if anything, keep his entrance around. That's badass. But, just jump to the main event here, unless you have anything to say, Rob?
Yeah, I was going to ask on one more thing. With, the dance-off and how William Regal starts to dance, but Brodus Clay
Regal had some
just
moves.
knocks him out. Do you think we could be seeing the start of a William Regal Brodus Clay feud here?
Possibly. I want to see how Brodus does in a real match. Because everything has been a 30-second squash.
Right.
I think you probably got one more week of 30-second squashes, and then you have to start something.
I don't even think you have that. It's SmackDown. After SmackDown, that's it. Because the Rumble, he's got to prove himself in the Rumble by eliminating a bunch of dudes. Even if Kane comes in, destroys a few more guys, picks up the overall record for eliminations, and then Brodus comes out and topples him.
And see,
I don't think they'd make that happen, but you make a good point as far as legitimacy in the Rumble. That's good point.
This is the turning point. It has to start at the Rumble and go forward in real matches.
Yeah, you're right, Joe. You're exactly right.
And this is why I was kind of excited about seeing Regal and Brodus get off, because William Regal's he is definitely a guy who can help Brodus Clay. I mean, he's very skilled at helping other guys get over, and he can legitimately give Brodus Clay more than a 30-second squash match.
Yeah, totally. And Brodus needs somebody who can actually go toe-to-toe with him. The fact that Regal hasn't been in the ring in some time, though, on TV anyway, I don't know if he's actually done house shows, that kind of hurts him. But damn, he had some nice dance moves.
Okay, all right. What about the lumberjack? What about the lumberjack match?
Lumberjack match, I was liking. I liked the slyness that Daniel Bryan had. The match was good until they brought all the lumberjacks in, attacking both guys, and Bryan sneaks out. I understand it was needed to set up the triple threat cage match for the Rumble. So Daniel Bryan versus Mark Henry versus Big Show. But damn, like, I don't know. There could have been another way to do it. Maybe. I actually want to see Bryan go for a match completely without having one of these outs. You know what I mean? It's like we set him up for a good gimmick match, and there's some technicality where he doesn't finish it, like where AJ got run over by Big Show, and in this one he sneaks out. He sneaks out of the lumberjack match because everybody gets involved and he just leaves.
Yeah, it's kind of the same mistake TNA's making with Bobby Roode. You know, like they have if Bobby Roode intentionally got disqualified, he was going to sacrifice the title or something. So Roode finds another loophole.
Right.
It's one of those things that it's okay to see for like 1, maybe 2 weeks, but you can't do it too often.
Right. I mean, the only thing and this is totally out of left field, but the last guy to do this kind of thing in WWE really was Christian. And I'm looking for a Christian return to face Daniel Bryan. I think that would be a good series of matches.
Ooh.
That would be pretty good, yeah.
Yeah, Christian and Daniel Bryan could have a good series of matches.
I mean, they're both relatively in size, in build. They're pretty equal. And maybe not in size, I think Christian's taller. But in build-wise and the versatility that these guys have, I think it'll work pretty good, pretty well.
Yeah, I mean, if you want a quality match, that makes sense. And I would rather see a Christian in that role than a Randy Orton.
Well, yeah.
Yeah. I think all of us would rather see.
Thanks, Captain Obvious there. We appreciate it.
The only thing that I noticed on this is that they're really pushing Mark Henry as like a tweener. Like, before he was this major heel, but now that Bryan is taking the reins as the big-time heel in this whole feud, Mark Henry has moved to be like that tweener role. So he's getting cheers, he's getting some boos, but, it's just strange that they've flip-flopped.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, so you're going to move on to Raw, Kevin?
Correct.
All right, before you do, we do have a voicemail from Other Mark. Other Mark is a fan of the Wrestle Randomness show on the TWR network that we poached, and Garv, go ahead and play it.
Hi, this is Other Mark from Wrestling Randomness. I thought Raw overall was pretty okay. The Kane thing went on for far too long with Zack Ryder. I didn't realize it takes him 25 minutes to put someone on a stretcher, but I guess that's WWE for you. Other than that, Raw was pretty good, along with... I like the main event with... what came after the main event was pretty interesting. The thing with Laurinaitis and Punk, where Punk gives him a GTS and Ziggler comes running out of nowhere and hits him with probably the best-looking zigzag I've ever seen.
Okay. Kevin, what do you think?
Funny, because Other Mark pretty much echoed my exact sentiments. This is a Raw that I hate to review because it's all build up for the Rumble. There's not many matches. So, they want to rest guys for the Rumble coming up. It's one of the biggest pay-per-views. So, and he's exactly right. It was okay. There were things that I definitely liked, but he took the words right out of my mouth. 25 minutes for the frickin' stretcher thing with Zack Ryder was absurd. I'm like, okay, I'm going to play Skyrim now. Oh, it's still going on. Okay, I guess I'll, work on my smithing. Oh, okay, we're still going on. I'll go ahead and do some more daggers. Okay, sold the daggers. Oh, they're putting him on the stretcher. Okay, Cena has a grimaced look on his face, and now he's going in the back of the ambulance. And Eve yelled at him. All right, and
she's such a great
that was
actress.
Commercial break, so I guess I'll kind of finish this off. Seriously, I mean, it was just absurd. There definitely were some good parts. He touched on the handshake into the GTS, which we all saw coming, but was still awesome. But I don't know about anybody else, but shades of Stone Cold stunning McMahon.
Oh God.
Yeah.
Yeah. I marked that right there exactly for that. I'm like, oh yeah. I'm like, that's exactly what they're going for here, and that's exactly what I thought of. Interesting Jericho segment. Going all REM on us. Not that that's a bad thing or anything, but going all REM on us. I think just kind of an interesting way to put things. We'll see what happens. Maybe this is the twist to the gimmick, because during that video package that he played, which was damn good by the way, they clipped just for a second and a half the vignettes they were doing leading up to him coming back. So maybe that's part of it, and maybe this is where the turning point comes. We'll have to wait and see. Once again, the beginning of the show with Punk and Laurinaitis and Cena, I thought was good. I thought it had its moments, but this is, like I said, a Raw I hate to review because it's so much build up. They're not going to have many matches. They want to rest guys, as they should. That's fine with me. So overall, you want to give it okay, but I always want to cut it some slack, because it's like this WrestleMania, the two biggest shows. You don't want to get guys hurt. You want to get them rested. You want to have them in top form for one of the biggest events of the year.
Absolutely. Okay, so the question I have for you is, with this Chris Jericho thing coming up on the Royal Rumble, do you see? I mean, where do you see the storyline going? I mean, do you finally see this being the end of that, to where we're constantly in this holding pattern that we're finally going to see? Okay, this was the whole point.
I do. I said it once and I'll say it again, and we're going to talk about this a little bit later. But to me, he's winning the Rumble. I just don't see anybody else. And I think that the turning point's going to come here when he wins the Rumble. Maybe in the next couple of months, him versus Punk at WrestleMania just makes too much sense. And it would sell, it would be awesome, and I'd be glued to my TV. I mean, I wouldn't be able to, it'd be great. I really think it'd be a phenomenal match, and I really hope that it happens, but, we'll have to wait and see. But yeah, I think the Rumble, maybe afterwards, maybe an interview after the Rumble, we're going to find out what happens. And I think this is the turning point as to when we see what's going on with Jericho and what he's actually going to do.
Okay. Well, then why don't we just bounce over to main news and we can continue this discussion for the Royal Rumble predictions. All right.
Let's rock.
All right, so jumping over to the main news, the main event, Mr. Anderson did an interview with The Void, where basically he did this big long thing, but there were really two things that we wanted to bring out. One is he said that one of the big differences between TNA and WWE is that WWE doesn't give you a free hand in matches. Basically, they would script the matches down to the exact moves. Now, the thing you got to think about, and Garvin and I were talking about this on the pre-show, you got to kind of take this with a grain of salt, right? Because Anderson's work in WWE was terrible. So maybe he had certain circumstances, or do you really see WWE getting down? Because this kind of goes against everything that we've read as far as how they book matches. It's usually the booker and the two wrestlers, and they kind of go through it. It's not like they tell one guy, this is everything you're going to do.
Well, yeah, but I mean, Anderson being so bad, maybe it's just his experience where they're like, all right, everybody else do what you got to do, but we got to sit you down, motherfucker, and tell you exactly how to do the match. I mean, if he's that bad. But if he was that bad in WWE, Why the fuck did they let him win Money in the Bank?
Maybe they were hoping...
He did, and then he lost it to Edge after the entire steroid comment that he made.
Maybe. Honestly, I think it was like one of those things, it's like, well, you're good, you're decent on the mic, maybe this will translate.
TNA's going to the same thing. It's not working out.
Well, I don't know. Anyway.
Well, they're doing the same thing with Otunga right now. I mean, look at that. So Harrison makes a good point, but Joe, I think you also make a great point. I think, maybe it was, his matches were so bad they were saying, "Hey, we got to get back to the basics here. Let's work on, a couple of basic things in the ring. Let's get you going." Maybe that was his experience, because I'm with Harrison overall. Everything you've ever heard, it's. Hey, we got a couple of things, and we need you to hit, but other than that, we want you to tell the story. You guys do what you got to do. So, I'm kind of with Joe. I think this was maybe more his experience in this situation.
Well, that could be, but it also is worth taking into account other things that Anderson has said in the past about WWE. He's also come out and said that Triple H was basically the reason he got fired. Triple H went to Vince McMahon and said, well, I don't think Anderson can do what we want him to do. And WWE forced him to limit his gimmick much more than he wanted to. So there could be a few different things going on here.
Okay. The other thing that he said that I really wanted to talk about was the differences in how the storylines are constructed. Basically, his point of view is that, quote, "At TNA, everyone is treated like an adult. You're not an idiot, you can think for yourself. At WWE, only certain guys are treated like that. Punk, Truth, etc., where they're given a broad outline as far as what they want for their promos." Basically saying there's a difference in how WWE and TNA book storylines. In TNA, it's a lot more... free flow, and that's a lot more loose. The guy, like each individual, like whoever's involved in the storyline, kind of has command of it, and TNA is more of a hands-off approach. Whereas in WWE, they're getting down to the nitty-gritty, which kind of fits with the general perception of TNA programming as to how WWE works. Like storylines are kind of all over the place and tend to happen irrespective of each other, and they also lack a certain long view that you get as far as WWE. I can't imagine the last time TNA did something that was a year in advance, like they did with Rock versus Cena at WrestleMania.
Yeah, that I think is right. I mean, as somebody who watches TNA programming on a regular basis, I don't often see storylines with like a long view in mind. With a storyline that's going to take a while to develop. It's more like, okay, we're going to run with this, and while we're running with this, these guys are going to run with this, and these guys are going to run with this. I think that ties into some of the stuff that we've also heard from pros in the business, that, people in TNA, wrestlers and the bookers really aren't quote-unquote ready for TV.
Yeah, the two questions I wanted to have for you guys to pitch to the group was, one, is this indicative of TNA Creative not being able to do this? And two, which do you think is better? Would you rather have your wrestlers handle the storylines along with the matches and the promos, or would you rather have Creative really getting their hands in there and getting dirty with how these guys and girls do their work?
I think TNA Creative could handle it the way the WWE wants. I think WWE is basically just trying to say, we think that the wrestlers can do their gimmicks better than a writer can. Okay. And even though it gets messy at times, I think I would almost prefer that. I mean, because it's very hard for a writer to tell Mr. Anderson what Anderson can do. I mean, he knows what he can do. He knows his talents, his abilities. He knows what he can do in the ring. I mean, it's really easy for me as a writer to say, okay, well, you're gonna do a moonsault off the top rope. It's another thing for the athlete to say, oh, well, I can try.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, so what about you, Joe and Kevin? What do you guys think? I mean, do you like the idea of wrestlers having more of a free hand, or would you rather creative kind of got in there?
No, I'm completely for them having a free hand. They know what's best for them. They know what their strengths and weaknesses are. I mean, I think if creative wants to give them, says, hey, you need to do this because it's important to the storyline, obviously you need to do that, and they realize that. But I don't want creative getting too involved. The wrestlers should have a free hand and know what they're best at, be able to tell their own story.
See, I'm kind of in the middle on this because look at TNA. If TNA's letting all these guys do what they want, why is it not better than what WWE's putting out?
See, that's a really good point.
Well,
I mean, there's something to be said for people who have experience with a lot of these younger guys. I mean, you get older guys like John Cena, Kane, even more experience like Punk. You get these guys, and yeah, you can let them run. Jericho, HBK, Triple H even. You get these guys, they've been experienced enough where you can let them go, and they get it. Some of these younger guys, I mean, it's been said before that TNA roster people, they're coming up from indies, and they have no experience working for TV, because it's a completely different ballgame. And I think that's where you need the creative team to step in and really help out. Do I think that WWE lets their creative team choke some guys out? Sure I do. But I think it ends up being a better product storyline-wise than what TNA's been putting out.
Well, I think there might be some middle ground here. I think you could have creatives say, okay, here's the storyline we have in mind. Here's the general outline. And then just let the wrestler do what they need to do to meet that outline. I don't think that creative. I don't think that a bunch of writers sit around saying, "Okay, you're going to do this, then you're going to do this, then you're going to come back over here and do this."
No, I agree. That's nitpicking too much.
Right.
But in some cases, I think early on in some guys' careers, they may have to sit down and do that.
Well, they did it with Anderson. So, if I mean, do you see TNA, Joe? Do you see TNA at all jumping in and having more of a firm hand with their talent, or do you think that their creative department just doesn't have the skill or experience to be able to do that?
I'd really want to look more at their creative team, because I mean, how many guys are really not WCW material? Let's ask that question.
What do you mean by WCW material?
Like, how many of those guys, like Jason Hervey?
Oh, I see what you mean.
Really? Like, I understand. Apparently, he's been with he was with WCW and stuff, but how much does he actually know? Like, I don't know. I get annoyed with Bischoff, where Bischoff gets involved in the creative side. I understand he ran WCW, but look what happened to WCW. Like, do we need a fresh set of minds? Sure. Do we need some experienced minds? Sure. But I always get the feeling that TNA is just making the wrong choices because the guys they really want aren't available because they work for WWE.
No, that's fair. I mean, where would you be able to poach talent if it's not available? No, that's a good point. All right, so the other question I have is Angle gave an interview last week where basically he burned TNA to the ground and hinted that he'd be fine with the WWE return. Granted, I'm being hyperbolic with it. How do you see this with Anderson being so pro-TNA with this? How do you see this contrasting there? I mean, do you think this is just a difference of opinion, or do you think this is a difference of experience?
Angle was a top guy in WWE. I honestly do. I think it's a difference of experience that the two guys had there. He sees a lot of really bad things happening at TNA, and he openly stated those. I do. I think that the two guys had very different experiences at the company, and it's affected their personal opinion. And I'm not saying either one's wrong. They're entitled to their opinion, but top guy who sucked in WWE. I mean, let's look at this, just from a black and white perspective. I honestly think it is.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm kind of with Kevin. I think it's a difference of opinion. I mean, as we said, Anderson had a horrible experience in the WWE. He has criticized and thrown WWE under the bus every chance he's gotten. Because of how things went. Angle had a much better time in WWE, and meanwhile TNA has screwed him over royally. I mean, we've all complained about how, Jeff Jarrett has basically just used Angle at times as his personal punching bag.
Yeah.
So I think it's just kind of what Kevin said. A difference not of how long they've been in the business, but a difference of how each company has treated them. I mean,
Okay.
TNA has treated Kurt Angle a lot worse than it's treated Mr. Anderson, and WWE treated Anderson a lot worse than it treated Angle. So I think we're getting to the point where Angle is starting to get fed up with TNA.
Okay, Garv, you had something to add?
Yeah, I mean that's exactly it. I mean, it's you look at both of these interviews and you have to figure out what is the motivation behind it. Anderson hasn't been on TV in
Yeah.
2 months now. And the rumors have been that quote unquote creative doesn't have anything for him, and that's why he hasn't been on TV. So, yeah, he's going to be very pro TNA in any interview he does because he needs a job. He needs to be on TV to make money, and TNA is the only place that is going to offer him that. I mean, he can't go anywhere else. He can go maybe, take his Legends contract type deal and work the really low end of the totem pole indies, but other than that, there's no way he'll ever go back to the WWE. He's just not talented enough. So yeah, he's talking up TNA as if TNA is the greatest thing out there because he has to, while Angle doesn't because he knows if he got his act together, he could fit very well in WWE again. Maybe not a full-time basis, but still, they would accept him with open arms.
Okay.
Well, I don't know if it's a case of Anderson not being able to fit in WWE. I just think that there are too many guys who can, with the same kind of skill set that he has in WWE, where it'd be the same thing as TNA. WWE really wouldn't have room for him.
Okay. No, that's a good point. All right, cool. All right, you guys ready to move on to quick hits?
Quick hits.
All right, time for quick hits. For those guys new to the show, each one of us is going to get 30 seconds to sign off on a news topic. If there's time afterwards, we'll scream at each other for a bit. Item number 1. Rumors are that Evan Bourne is gone for good with the WWE. The second violation, his second wellness violation was unrelated to his first. The first was a mistake. The second one, he should have known better. Do you guys think that he is out of here? Joe?
Do I think he's out? Yeah. Here's the thing that throws me for a loop. The first one was a mistake for the
whatever
synthetic marijuana is what it came out being. The second one they say is totally unrelated to that. What the fuck happened? If it's a wellness policy violation, what the fuck did he do? Black tar heroin?
Okay. No, yeah, maybe. Okay, Rob.
Yeah, I think he's gone. I mean, we talked about this last week. I mean, 2 violations in 2 months. This kid's just an idiot.
Okay, Kevin, go.
Yeah, I'm with everybody else. I think he's gone with this news coming out, and Joe's exactly right. A second violation for something different than the first, that's the problem. Yeah, so I think he's probably gone, and it's unfortunate. The kid has a ton of talent. Maybe he goes to a TNA trip wouldn't surprise me at all. I bet they'd scarf him up in a heartbeat. So
yeah,
he could fit in the X division.
Okay, so here's
could fit in a lot more than the X division.
Zack Ryder had an injury. Basically, it was first reported that his back was broken. Then the news came out that it's a herniated disc now. This is the same injury that Orton had, and he was out for about 3-ish weeks. Do you see the same thing for Ryder, or no, Joe?
Probably, but if he actually has a herniated disc, why are they choke slamming him through the stage? I don't care.
No,
what...
it's a storyline injury. It's just that
Seriously.
first time it was the first time they storylined it, they said it was his back broken, and then they changed the storyline and said it was a herniated disc, which is the same thing that Orton had.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I fucked up, but I don't know. I mean, if they're actually sidelining him for a reason other than to push Kane, I'd be interested to see why, like injury wise.
Okay. Kevin.
I still think they'll want him back as quickly as possible. He's way over. They need mid-card faces. They want him. I honestly think they want him to contend for the title because I don't think they want them to drop it. So I think as quickly as he's going to be back, I don't see him losing momentum with the success of his YouTube show. So I think he will be back, and I think he will be in front of the camera as soon as they can get him.
All right, Rob.
Yeah, I think he'll be out about the same time as Orton. I agree with everybody else. WWE needs him for a lot of reasons right now, and he's very popular.
See, you guys keep saying he's very popular and WWE needs him, but they took him out 1 week before the Royal Rumble. So that means going into the Rumble, all the planning for the Rumble, he was never, ever going to have a chance to win it. He was never in the running or contention at all.
I mean, not to jump in on your time here,
fine.
but no, they're removing Zack Ryder, he doesn't need the popularity from the Rumble. He doesn't need the push from the Rumble. He's got the push going for him. The grassroots YouTube thing, it's still big. So they don't need to build him that way. They can bring him back, a couple weeks after the Rumble, and he's, as far as general momentum, he's still got it.
Okay, other than the YouTube videos, like aside from the YouTube videos that fans like us would watch, if you watch WWE Raw and SmackDown, other than him being seen as BFF, what does he have going for him?
Listen to the crowd, okay? When he's losing the match and you hear the fans go, "Let's go Ryder, woo, 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 woo," there's an impact there. I mean, yeah, he's storyline injured, but when he comes back, there's more of an aggression. Now he can do a storyline with Kane and maybe beat Kane.
Okay.
He can go after Swagger and get his title back.
So you think the fact that he's not even going to be in the Rumble at all,
it's not going to hurt
not going to hurt him?
He's still got momentum.
Yeah.
And this way people aren't going to be like, why the fuck isn't he in the Rumble? He's storyline injured.
And
he's injured.
As we talked about earlier, WWE has a lot of people to push right now. So since Ryder's popular and missing the Rumble won't hurt him, you can give the spotlight to somebody else.
Okay. All right, so jumping into the undercard, and then we'll go right to the Royal Rumble. For those of you guys with AT&T Uverse, you can watch Ring Ka King on channel 3712, which I'm amazed that they have that many channels. Indian Channel Colors on this Saturday, January 28th, and Sunday, January 29th at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time here in the U.S. if you want to watch Ring Ka King, which should be pretty good. At least all the reports are saying that was pretty good. James Storm is a baby daddy. Congrats, buddy. China showed up drunk and or stoned at the AVN Awards. I like to think she'd look much better if the internet let us send a certain jovial podcast host to accompany her.
Yeah.
But how will your wife feel, Harrison, about that, sending you off?
Wait, I'm sorry, what was that, Joe?
How would your wife feel if they sent you off with China?
I'm not the jovial one. You're the jovial one.
I'm the asshole.
Still to this day, one of the best ideas you and Garvin have ever had.
Yeah, I really wish.
And we were not Joe. We had no idea when he said that. Man, that was so good.
And here's what baffles me: Hipster had no Hipster.com had no problem, or Kickstarter.com, whatever. They had no problem. They had no problem giving Mickey James or approving her contract, her request to start to raise money for
her album. Yeah, I know, but at the same time, she's giving out the album. What are we giving out for Joe? Joe basically telling everybody it was awkward, and that's all.
I was penetrated deeply. What else am I supposed to say after that one?
She has hands the size of my face. They do have a point in rejecting it, but
her clit's bigger than my dick. Whatever.
I really wish they didn't. All right. So Psycho Sid Vicious is going to be taking on Matt Hardy for the Pro Wrestling Syndicate Supercard 2012 on Friday, March 9th in Rahway, New Jersey. How badly do you want to see those two go at it on the mic?
Seriously. I want to see a vignette of the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man versus
Psycho frickin' Sid.
The guy like Jack Nicholson when he busted through like the door in The Shining, and those like crazy eyes. Like that's how they need to start the vignette. Stay Puft Marshmallow Man. Jack Nicholson.
This is going. I want to see this match because it's going to be floppy leg against floppy gut. Seriously, that is one of the most disturbing things in wrestling is watching Sid break that leg, and it's funny to watch everybody watch it.
Ugh.
Yeah, it is the two girls, one cup of the wrestling world.
Pretty much.
Yeah. All right,
No.
so Raw.
No. That's like the thighs. But okay, we're gonna talk about something else.
What about the marathon runner that pooped his pants? Have you seen that one? Crazy Legs McGee just kind of stumbles all over himself. I can't remember who it is. Anyway. Alright, so this weekend is a pay-per-view of ill repute, the Royal Rumble. John Cena is going to take on Kane. Daniel Bryan's going to take on Big Show and Mark Henry for the world title. WWE titles up against Punk and Ziggler, and then the Royal Rumble match itself. We have a ton of predictions on this. We're going to go through, but let's go through the first three matches, then we'll talk about the actual Rumble. Cena versus Kane. What do you think?
Kane.
If
No way they stop the momentum. Kane all the way.
Okay. Rob?
Cena.
Jarvin?
I think Cena's going to win.
Really?
Really?
No, it's odds are he will, but if they want to do anything with Kane, you got to let Kane win.
Yeah, maybe they do. Maybe a DQ. That's the only way I can see it. But Rob makes a good point. But I don't know. I don't think you can squash the momentum. I think you got to keep it going.
What point did I make? All I've said is that I think Cena's going to win.
That's enough of a point. I see your logic.
That's a great point, Rob. I totally agree.
I
Thank
disagree.
you.
Rob, that is...
Fucking
I love your
paintball.
point, Rob.
No, see, you guys are totally kissing his ass. I don't care how good of a point it was. That point... no, actually, you know what, Rob? No, you're a very good point. I'm switching my pick entirely for that point, Rob. Look at that. Made me change my mind. All right. So the world title...
Good. I'm glad you changed your mind since the prevent defense is going to win it for us.
Nope, I'm sticking with Kane. I got to check both of you guys. And no...
Oh, God.
That's
Deal with it.
bullshit.
Deal with it. I am in it to win
Kevin, you
it.
can't bring that shit up.
In it to win it. In it to win it.
But by the way, I
my
am
bad, Joe.
I am
That's on
going
me.
with Kane.
Are you going with Kane?
That's my pick. I
Oh, so you just jinxed it
I did.
all. Yes.
I'm going to make sure that
Yep, I'm
everyone
officially
fails.
changing my pick.
So wait a minute, Garv. So Garv, are you just basically going to go through this entire thing and pick everything I pick? Just to
No,
sync
I
me?
am not a copier, sir.
No, I'm just saying because you know
Harrison, you're the copier.
you are in. I don't even want to say dead last, but like sub rotting corpse in the ground last.
I think
In a
Connor's
ditch
at
somewhere.
least behind me.
Yeah, but how many times has he been on the show?
It doesn't matter.
Twice.
Yeah,
It doesn't matter how many times he's been on the show.
Yes, it
Garvin
does.
is not the
It's the
absolute
opportunity.
last person.
Yeah, but if you break it down to percentage, Harrison, you're losing more than Connor is because Connor's batting 50-50.
Okay, fine, but I'm still in first place.
What else?
Deal with it. Daniel Bryan, Big Show, Mark Henry. I really, I don't know. This match is gonna be such a toss up for me because it's Big Show and Mark Henry again. But Daniel, I mean, do you think adding the Daniel Bryan curry to this is gonna be enough of a spice?
I think Brian will walk out with the title.
Okay, so you're saying Bryan is gonna leave with the title. Do you think it's gonna be a good match though?
Yes,
It should-
I'm going with yes because they're two on the good side, two on the bad side. I'm going with yes. I think they make it happen at the Rumble.
Harrison, what's your pick?
With the world title.
Call, Joe.
What's that, Harrison?
I don't know. For me, it's a toss-up between Henry and Daniel Bryan, only because I look at this match and I can't see Daniel Bryan being able to hold his own up against Show or Henry, or Daniel Bryan's going to make these two look terrible. Either way, one person's going to come out of this match looking awful. But with everything going on, yeah, I'm gonna say they stick it with. I'm gonna say they stay with Daniel Bryan, just because I can't see Mark Henry or Big Show having this belt 2 months away.
Damn it.
Right?
See, I want to say Daniel Bryan because I really think he's going to walk out with it, but the only other option... You know what? Fuck it, Big Show.
So so you're thinking Big Show?
Yeah, which that's it. That's another viable option, but I don't see him taking it off Bryan.
The only reason I'm saying Big Show is because of the fact that he had the short title reign.
Well, yeah, but he's had other title reigns.
I know, but like the fact that he had that short one, he's like they made a big deal. He's waited 9 years or whatever
really
for another
point.
title.
Yeah.
So he could walk out with it.
No, that's a good point. All right, Rob.
I'm gonna stick with.
Was it good for you,
Daniel Bryan?
You're gonna stick with Daniel Bryan? All right.
I am. I don't think they're gonna take the title off of him just yet.
All right, Garv, what are you thinking?
I am hoping that they keep the title on Daniel Bryan.
Team Beard.
I think it would be a huge mistake on what they've done with him so far. To take the title off him kind of destroys all that.
I would agree with you, but I mean, this is a time period where they'll test out a champion, as we've brought up previously. I mean, and I really think that picking something other than Daniel Bryan was an attempt to really help try and get Harrison to pick something else.
Oh my God, Joe, stop playing the game. Just pick for the sake of picking the matches, okay? Come on, what are you trying to do?
I'm gonna go with Big Show here.
Yeah, no, I agree. Like we said this a month ago, and yeah, they usually use this time period to test out champions, but I gotta think that they still need to test out how far they can take Daniel Bryan. I mean, they just did the basic heel turn 2 weeks ago. So this is like the very beginning of it. And what I'm afraid of is if they take the title off of him, it's almost like another Christian thing, and it would be difficult for him to rebound from that, especially with how strong the character is now.
I would think more Del Rio, where they take the belt off of him, and then it's not like he loses teeth like Christian, but he just becomes annoying. Or it's almost like he's annoying the fans with being a heel. Where it's like, well, it's my destiny, it's my destiny, it's my destiny all over again. So you're staying Team Beard?
Yeah, Team Beard, all the way.
Okay. Punk versus Ziggler for the WWE title. I gotta be honest, I'm taking Ziggler. And I'm not playing the game. First pick, I'm taking Ziggler because I think time is right. Let's get the belt off of him. Let's test him out for the WWE Championship, and I think he's going to do great. And I think Punk versus Laurinaitis would be awesome. Going forward.
I'm going with Punk. Punk's...
Same here. I'm
also
Joe.
going with Punk.
Ooh. Rob, Joe, Kevin. I'm alone on this, huh?
Yep.
Garvin?
Well, Ziggler's a very risky choice. I mean, he was just the U.S. champion like a month ago. I'd like to see Ziggler eventually be the champion, but I think it's too soon. They have to keep the title on Punk.
All right.
Yeah,
I'm going
with Punk.
Got the dice and I'm throwing them bones. All right, so the Royal Rumble match. We got 3 voicemails of people calling in, giving us their predictions. Garvin, you want to cue those up and play them real quick?
Hi, this is Other Mark from Wrestling Randomness. It's my first time leaving a voicemail on anything, so my Rumble pick would have to be I want Barrett or Cody, but I know it's probably not going to happen, or even Ziggler, but it's probably going to be Orton or Jericho.
This is ST saying our people we don't listen to the FTW podcast. And my predictions for 2012 Royal Rumble. Bang.
Hey, this is Credo from the Marks. My Royal Rumble picks after Monday Night Raw, I'll have to say Jericho. But if they keep the Royal Rumble match as the last match on the pay-per-view, I'm going to have to say if Punk gets screwed, I'm going to pick CM Punk to win the Royal Rumble. Only because they're really pushing that everybody could be used in the Rumble, and I figure they're going to have all the matches first and then go into the Rumble. So I'm either saying Jericho, since it's going to be the end of the world, or Punk gets screwed out of the title and then he wins the Royal Rumble. Something to that effect. So Jericho and Punk for Credo's pick. All right, guys, keep up the good show. Later.
Okay, so that's basically it. Seems like the angle as far as predictions on here, Facebook, Twitter, have been the hopeful guess is Jericho, the jaded guess is Orton. And then you have some Punk in there, or Mr. T picked Kane, or Bane, I don't know. Although
Batman versus Bane at Mania.
Yeah, that would be awesome. So all of us on the show, we went on record last week saying we all picked Y2J. Everybody else is either saying Jericho or Orton. I mean, did you see Orton being the, I don't want to say the safe bet, but the cynical bet?
Not at all. Like, I cannot see Orton winning it because look where Orton's been. He's been, like, stagnant for months. And even doing this injury angle leading up to Rumble, you know, it's tough. But here's the question. Can anybody see Mick Foley winning it?
No.
Nope.
And Joe, I'm still with you. I agree. Out of the super main eventers, he's the one that I cannot see at this point winning it.
I see Ziggler before Orton.
I do too. Now, and a couple other guys. Justin picked Ziggler. A couple other guys. Mike C took Barrett and Sheamus. Normally, I'd be on board with those picks, but I just don't see it this year. They did that last year. They took the up and coming guy in Del Rio. I don't think they go that route this year, and I just see the stars completely aligning with Jericho coming back, having Jericho win it, and him Punk facing it at WrestleMania. I just think everything has lined up perfectly. So that's the reason I pick it. Normally, I think you guys have made great picks, and that it's possible, and I would certainly be on board, particularly with Ziggler. But
Yeah,
I
it's Justin
don't
L.
see it this year. I don't see it happening.
Yeah, it was Justin L that did that.
Yeah.
No,
I mean, Don Flamenco's another good. I mean, Wade Barrett's another good pick. But not this year.
yeah, you guys brought up a really good point. Especially, I'm really hesitant to say they got burned last year, but nothing really came out of. I don't know. I mean, I think Jericho versus Punk at WrestleMania, and WrestleMania is all about turning the dials to 11. So if you have those two for fans like us, and then you have The Rock versus Cena for everybody else, that's every pay-per-view buy on the planet. So I really got to go with Jericho. Although, one thing I want to bring up, Jeff X, a friend of ours on Facebook, Johnny Ace or Santino? I know Santino is kind of a joke pick, but Johnny Ace, how crazy would that be?
It would be crazy. It's an interesting thought, but no freaking way.
It's an interesting
but
thought.
I like the outside the box thinking. I do.
It's an interesting thought because they seem to be doing a lot of the Vince McMahon stuff with Johnny Ace. But it's too soon.
Yeah, but that's the thing.
The character is not as well defined as it should be for something like that to happen.
But I think it would be. I mean, it would be. One, it'd be a great swerve. It'd be a really good coup, and it kind of goes along with the whole thing they've been pushing of anybody is eligible for the Royal Rumble.
Yeah, but I think that's mainly to get people who are in title matches in there, like Ziggler, or Big Show, or Mark Henry.
Yeah.
Or Daniel Bryan.
Yeah, I'm not. Yeah, I don't see Johnny Ace even being in the Rumble, let alone winning it.
Or is this when they actually put women in there? Yeah, like, more than just, like, Chyna and Beth?
Nope, that's not happening.
Karma?
Maybe next year.
I wish.
No, Karma hasn't popped her child
Nope.
out yet.
She comes
Can I
out
throw
pregnant.
in one piece of logic that you guys are leaving out in this whole Jericho
Sure.
talk?
Bring it.
Everyone is saying Jericho will win. If you look at Twitter, the responses we're getting on Twitter and Facebook,
Yeah.
if
I know where you're
everyone
going.
is saying Jericho will win, I have a really hard time believing that they'll do that.
I don't know. I could see Jericho running around the ring, slapping fives and shit, and cheering with the fans, and then like leaving. So everyone thinks he's gone, and then right before somebody gets eliminated, he comes back and then topples somebody and just picks up the cheap win. Will it be anticlimactic? Yes. It'll make this pay-per-view deflate.
Yeah.
Let's be honest.
Well,
but with what they've done with him so far, it makes such perfect sense.
Well, here's the thing, though. I mean, Jericho basically prophesied the end of the world or something happening at Royal Rumble, and that his storyline is basically going to start there. So it's not like, I mean, I see your point, Garvin, that it's almost too easy to say Jericho's going to win. But just so you know, we were all saying it before everybody else was. So suck on that.
Right.
Do you think that maybe Jericho will bring back like a Mayan tag team partner? So then
2012
they
thing?
can prophesy? Yeah.
It'll be the next Rock 3 years from now. He'll be like the new Rocky Maivia.
Well, no. I mean, after this year, his career's going to be over. So, whoever you're bringing in for a short time. You're going to bring back Tatanka? What are you going to do? Maybe Marty Jannetty?
How is Marty Jannetty Mayan?
I'm just saying his career's going to be short.
Oh, okay, all right. I'll give you that one. I mean,
he drinks as much. Never mind.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. So last thing before we move on, Foley is reportedly going to be.
How do we put a barber shop in a Mayan pyramid for the end of his career, though? The Mayan tag team partner. Huh?
I'm sure they have barbers. I just don't think they have windows. So you just.
I mean, somebody can get scalped. It's not that hard.
Mayans didn't scalp people.
How do you know? Were you there?
And here's
So
the
Foley's
show, and here's the gutter where we are now.
Yep.
Foley's going to be... last thing before we move on, Foley's going to be at the Rumble. What do you guys think? Do you see
Foley's going to be at the Rumble. Meh.
So, ringside, right?
Yeah.
No, I think he's entered.
Really?
But he's not going to be in for very long. He'll be in there throwing some punches. Holy shit! What about The Rock?
Rock and Sock?
Rock and Sock, baby. You think The Rock's going to enter?
Yeah, that'd be huge. But he'd get eliminated by...
I don't know.
That would be exciting,
Cena?
but I think that would cause some issues because that means he gets a title shot of some sort, which means that they would...
No, I didn't say he wins.
No, he loses.
He does not
He'd
win.
have to lose.
He loses. Cena gets involved and eliminates him, paving the way for somebody else.
Okay, so the Rumble last year had 2 huge surprises. Well, 1.5 huge surprises. What do you see the big surprise for the Rumble being this year? Joe, you're saying The Rock? Is it a surprise entrant?
Sure, what the hell.
Okay. Anybody else?
Sure as fuck ain't gonna be Macho Man.
For my surprise, I think Foley... Yeah, I think Foley will enter the Rumble, and he might even eliminate a couple of people, but he's obviously not going to win.
All right. Kev?
Yeah, I see Foley being in. I would have been more of a surprise if they hadn't, kind of gone with this a little bit more. I don't know. Foley seems to be the guy.
They flat out said...
Yeah, I don't know what you guys are talking about. Foley is in the Rumble.
Oh, I thought it was at the Rumble.
No, he's
Yeah, I thought it
he's
was-
in the
Oh,
Rumble
okay.
match.
I thought it was
segment.
at the Rumble.
I'm sorry.
Whatever.
All right. Wasn't there rumors a few weeks ago that someone formerly from TNA is going to be in there?
Yeah, don't forget RVD.
Yeah, RVD.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's RVD. I mean, RVD is always a good entrance into the Rumble.
Yeah, I could see RVD entering.
Okay. Sting?
No.
Let me throw this. What about Triple H?
Triple H is being debuted on Raw.
Yeah, but...
Well, that's a good point.
say
Yeah,
that
he could be in
the
there.
wrestle in the Rumble.
Well, I don't know. Triple H might blow his knee or something out when he gets eliminated.
No, that's Nash, not Triple H.
You never know, though. They're both kind of going down the same line.
They are kind of falling apart. They're getting kind of rickety.
And we're still saying no on Undertaker?
Yes.
I mean, unless you're gonna have Jericho bring back Taker, but then you have a fourth main event for WrestleMania because you cannot bring Taker back before Mania and not have him in a match at Mania.
Yeah, if Taker does, Joe's right. If Taker does come back, he's at Mania.
Right.
So he won't win the
And
Rumble.
who are you building up in that instance?
But what's wrong with having 4 main event quality matches at the biggest pay-per-view of the year?
No, main event quality, you could have 10 main event quality matches. The fact they have to build the 20-0 streak
that doesn't need to be built up at
has to be billed as one of, if not the actual main
No.
events, and you've already got 3 matches there.
No, that's Rock and Cena is the main event. It's been a year.
No, every year for the last several years they've had double or triple main events. They bill multiple things as the main events.
So if the word has no meaning, what's the problem with having 4 of them?
I think at that point you're just excessive. No, I'm serious.
Look,
I get 2 of them.
So,
No,
so
this
Joe's
year-
argument
this year.
is basically, okay, now this is ridiculous.
Well,
I'm
I mean,
just
this year
sorry.
you already have the rumored Jericho Punk, you have Rock Cena, and you have the world title match.
Keyword there, rumored Jericho Punk.
No, yeah, Jericho Punk should happen, but it's not a dream rumor. It's a hedging your bet rumor.
Right. It's 2 world titles and then another match.
Yeah. Well, and then 20-0. That's gotta happen.
I mean, WrestleMania. Right. Look at WrestleMania 23. They build the hair versus hair match as a main event.
no, they didn't. That was not a main event.
Yes, they did.
Not
They build it as a main event.
hair versus hair.
Yes. Bobby Lashley versus
Yeah.
Atunga because it had Vince McMahon and fucking Donald Trump. They build it as a main event. If you look at any poster for that event, that's what was on it.
Probably get because they had Donald Trump. Oh, whatever.
Exactly, but they built it as a main event. They actually said, "Here's the first main event of the
You're
evening."
absolutely right, Joe. This ice cream has too many sprinkles.
Yes.
We should get rid of half the sprinkles, or stop calling them
Yeah,
sprinkles.
scrape them off. They suck.
All right, time for win fail. All right, time for wins of the week. Your win of the week, go Joe.
My win of the week is the fact that Rumble is Sunday. I can't wait. I'm excited as shit.
Awesome. Kevin, your win of the week.
My win of the week is the GTS on John Laurinaitis. I marked out. I won't lie. It brought me back to Vince and Stone Cold, and that's obviously the thriller that they're going for. And it was. I loved it. I marked out, and looking forward to seeing the continued heat between the two.
Okay. Rob, your win of the week.
My win of the week is going to be the Crimson versus Magnus match, only because of what happened after the match was over when Samoa Joe and Magnus jumped Crimson and then Matt Morgan, because we finally heard the crowd chanting, "Joe's going to kill you."
Yeah, finally.
TNA has finally given Joe a push. He's run with it, and the crowd is finally starting to get back into the old Samoa Joe. They're starting to see him as a viable threat now.
Okay. Cool. Garvin, what's your win of the week?
Yeah, despite the negative opinions on social media these days about, how awful it is that the WWE is pushing more segments than matches, overall, I'm really excited about the Royal Rumble. I think they are building it up properly, and they are building up so well that, even if I wasn't going to Detroit to see it, I would probably buy it. Which I can't say very often about a WWE pay-per-view.
Yeah,
So
Garvin's cheap as hell.
I think they did a fantastic job this whole build. So yeah, I'm with Joe. Rumble, exciting.
My win of the week is at what point do you think about calling in to a wrestling podcast and decide to impersonate Mr. T? I mean, all the wrestlers and stuff like that, cheap pops, that makes sense, But Mr. T, that's a win in me, because it's like, come on, guys, Mr. T.
That's pretty old school. I mean, that's like
right?
WrestleMania, what, 3? 4?
3 or 4. I want to say that's ancient. That is, Mr. T. So, win of the week to whoever it was that called us and left a voicemail as Mr. T. Maybe it was Mr. T himself. Who knows? And thank you for picking Kane or Bane or whoever you picked. All right. Fails of the week. Joe, your fail of the week.
My fail of the week is the dance moves of Vicky Guerrero.
Yeah.
Oh my God! I mean, did you need? Christopher Reeve has better dance moves than Vicky Guerrero.
Oh, that did not just happen.
Wow. And
What, I could have...
Not
What? Oh, so if I would have said Stephen Hawking, it would have been okay? So if I would have said Stephen Hawking, that would have been okay?
No.
No, it wouldn't. Why would you think that would be okay?
Okay, fine. Terry Schiavo's got better dance moves than Vicky Guerrero. There you go.
Man.
There you go.
FTW brings you episode 98, The Sprint to the Bottom. Kevin, your fail. Go.
My fail is taking 25 minutes during the Ryder segment to put him on the stretcher or whatever the hell it took. I know they had to kill time, they didn't have a lot going on, but damn, that was absurd. You know, you couldn't put an interview in there or anything. It was ridiculous. It was way too long, and if that didn't have it, then Raw probably has bumped up a notch or two, but it really dragged the show down and really made things a lot worse.
Okay. Rob, your fail of the week?
I'm not going to give it to Joe, even though it's tempting.
It goes without saying.
Yeah, thank you. My fail of the week is going to have to go to Angelina versus Eric Young. I mean, that's just... It's a stupid match. You can't tell me that TNA didn't have any other match that they could have booked in place of that. It was just horrible.
Okay, Garvin, your fail of the week.
Yeah, Rob, the only thing I can think of is that they're eventually going to build that into a ODB versus Angelina feud going towards the title, and maybe we will finally see ODB doing something productive.
I hope so.
At least that's a hope.
I hope so. That's my hope. But
my fail, also on Impact, was the fact that they brought Alex Shelley back, only to give him basically a title shot at the next pay-per-view, like without any major build-up. And it's not that it's Alex Shelley, because I really like him. I think he deserves to be in that spotlight. But since he's been off for like 3 months, it just seems really awkward. At the same time, that really illustrates the problems that TNA has with the X division. It's like they can only concentrate on 2 or 3 people at a time, and then the next month it's 2 new people, and there's no consistency. And I'd rather see Alex Shelley, climb the ranks than just to get the title shot right off the bat.
Well, he's not getting a title shot right off the bat. He has to beat. He has to go through a person of Austin Aries' choosing.
Right, and just by going on how predictable TNA is, he's going to win and he's going to get the title shot. Why bring him back to put him in the storyline?
Right,
to give him the title shot?
Right, but my point is, it's not like he's going directly to the title shot as his first match back. And yeah, I see where you're coming from on there, but I still think they had. I still think that Alex Shelley and Austin Aries had an awesome segment. But and I'm kind of excited to see him back. We'll see what happens though.
Okay, my fail. No, I'm not going to give my fail. Alright, my fail is a personal opinion. Whatever your opinion of Brodus Clay's Funkadelic new gimmick, automatically branding it as racist doesn't really invite a lot of discussion, it tends to end discussion. Whenever you drop that word, you're basically there's no counterpoint to that. It's the atomic bomb of arguments to say, well, that's racist. Boom, you're done. There's no workaround with that. You can't say, well, my opinion is racist, or is it's racist, or, you got to look at these and you got to think that's kind of odd. Just coming out and just saying that doesn't really bring a roundtable discussion around. So my fail is that discussion and then automatically jumping to that, because it's the easiest way to make your point seem valid by using something that means a lot without really giving yourself that definition.
So to paraphrase, shucky ducky quack quack. No, this is the first time I've really heard any complaint about Brodus Clay's gimmick.
Yeah, just to put this in context, the other shows on Talk Radio Network have received calls, and I think that they've even pushed this idea that the whole Brodus Clay thing. Well, they accept it as relevant, but saying that the whole Brodus Clay thing is racist, and I can understand why people are against Brodus Clay, because it's a jokey character, and we were all expecting this monster, and that's not what we got. But to say that it's racist basically stops the conversation.
Right. I agree with you and Harrison Garvin, right? I mean, it's like calling somebody a traitor or calling somebody un-American. It stops the conversation right there. There's really no defense against it.
Right. And what sucks is, I mean, all they're doing with Brodus Clay is giving him an opportunity to, have fun in the ring. So, yeah, okay, his character is stereotypical of, like, a 70s black guy, maybe. That's not my first thought of it. I thought it was a fun character that I enjoyed watching. Why is, it all of a sudden racist? That,
the problem is that it's not just a 70s black guy. It's a caricature of a 70s character that you would see a lot of times on blaxploitation films and things like that. So you can make the point that it is racist, but to just up and just say, hey, I think the new Brodus thing is all racist. It's like, there's a lot of underlying factors that you have to look at that, and just by blanketing it with it really kills it. So that's the thing, is I don't really want to make it my fail. It's just like automatically putting that stamp on something just kills the discussion, which is really what you want to have. All right, anyway, our question of the week. Our question of the week. Triple H will return on next week's Raw Super Show to give a formal job evaluation to interim Raw General Manager John Laurinaitis to determine if he'll keep the job. Are we finally going to see the end of the anonymous Raw GM, or is that storyline completely dead? We're going to be posting this on Facebook. Definitely give us your opinion on that. We'll discuss it next week. I mean, what do you guys think? Do you really see we're finally going to know what's going on with the anonymous Raw GM, or is this basically them sweeping it under the rug and hoping we forget about it?
Sweeping under the rug and hoping we forget about it.
Sweeping? Sweep. All right. Fair enough. You heard our opinion. Let's hear yours. As always, you can find this episode as well as our entire archive at ftwpodcast.com. And just in case you want to share the experience with others, join us every Wednesday night at 8 p.m. at Eastern Standard Time at twrnetwork.com. Chat with us and the rest of the listeners at TWR as we listen to the show. Also, if you review any 2 TWR Network shows on iTunes, you're entered into a drawing, and the winner will get a prize package, including a $50 gift certificate to WWEshop.com, and a few other things. We have all the info linked on our Facebook page if you want more. You can hit us up at Facebook.com/FTWpodcast, Twitter.com/FTWpodcast, YouTube.com/the FTW Podcast. Call us 313-444-FTW4. That's 313-444-3894. Leave us a voicemail with the best intro you can for the show, and we'll put it in the rotation. Download our iOS and Android apps, and please rate us on iTunes. You guys ready to get out of here? Or does Joe have something, or does Joe want to insult some other poor person that can't defend themselves?
I don't know who's
Well,
left.
you can't take Roger Ebert because that's mine.